Hello, everyone. Susan Gerbeck here from Psychics Explained. I'm going to show you a couple examples that I keep finding these all over the place of the sitter misremembering. And it's obvious once we know what we're looking for. And I think that, yes, psychics do wordplay. Yes, psychics do hot reading. Yes, psychics do Barnum statements and cold reading. But it's the sitter who's motivated, who isn't understanding what they heard. And then they completely misremember it. I've seen examples with the Tyler Henry and Ricky Lake example that's 3 months. And then I have another example that I have on my channel that shows a reading one night, and then the next day, the sitter has completely forgotten what was said. But now that I'm aware of this, I'm seeing it all the time. So I'm going to show you this. This is a minute long. So first, I'm going to show you first I'm going to show you the sitter acknowledging that it's correct, what was just said. And then I'm going to go and I'm going to show you what the psychic actually said.
That's funny you should say that. My brother just came from Texas to see me.
Okay, I'm going to play that one more time. It's just a few seconds long. The sitter, her name is Maxine, says, "It's funny that you should say that because my brother just visited me from Texas." And so she's acknowledging that what the psychic just said was correct. So I'm going to play that again, and then we're going to go and look at what it was that the psychic actually said.
That's funny you should say that. My brother just came from Texas to see me.
Do you have any vacation plans over the next 6 months?
I haven't planned anything just yet.
It very well may be. I am getting a trip by. It'll be a distance, and so I'm getting by air. It may be to a different state before February, but I do get some kind of an enjoyment. This won't be for business. This will be for pleasure. Maybe to see someone you haven't seen for a long time, or it's possible someone's coming in that you haven't seen for a long time, and be prepared for that, because I do think that that's going to be in the makings for you.
Did you catch that? So what the psychic actually says, no surprise, she's not trying to fool her or anything. She's not trying to hot read her. She's making a Barnum statement that's so broad that she asks, are you going to go on vacation? Do you have any travel plans? And then she foresees some travel coming up that's going to involve a plane. And when the woman isn't like nodding and saying, yeah, that's likely to happen, she says, or somebody's going to come visit you. And that's when Maxine says, oh, well, that's funny that you should say that because my brother was just here and visiting me, and he came from Texas, which I guess is another state. So Maxine completely ignores almost everything the medium said and goes to the little bit that made some kind of sense to her. And that was somebody's going to come in from another state. Now, we don't know if he flew in or not, but it doesn't really matter. It's the sitter that is making it all fit. Now, we've always known this, but I think that there has been less focus on that than in the past, where we spend the community like that I'm in spends so much time trying to explain what it is the medium's doing, how they're giving cold reading statements, how they're giving Barnum statements, how they're hot reading, that we completely just are missing, like in this example, how much the sitter is going and doing the thing to make it all fit. And I find that fascinating. So let me show you one more clip. And this is Mark Edward, believe it or not, doing a psychic thing. Now, the first thing I'm going to do, he's the same show. What I'm going to show you first is that Mark is reading the dog, and the woman he's talking to is the psychic. So a minute ago, it was the sitter with somebody who she's giving a reading to named Maxine. Now it is the medium who is getting a reading about a dog, her own dog. So listen to this first, how she's admitting that that what Mark said was correct. And then we're going to go and look at what it was that Mark actually said. Yes, I know Mark is pretending to be a psychic medium here. Check out my other video that I have on my channel called OMG, Mark Edward Pet Psychic, OMG. That goes into more depth and explains what's going on. But let's look at this, just this little 55 seconds.
But it's really interesting that you picked that up, because
Yeah.
it's something I've sort of had as a secret in the closet for a while.
She says, that's very interesting that you picked that up. And she's almost embarrassed, because that's something that I've been holding on to in the closet, like a secret that I didn't tell anybody. I wanted to see if anybody picked up on that. So does Mark pick up on this amazing piece of information? Let's go look. I'm going to play it again real quick because it's so quick. I'm going to play that and then we'll go into what Mark actually says.
But it's really interesting that you picked that up, because
Yeah.
it's something I've sort of had as a secret in the closet for a while.
Well, a couple of things come to my mind about the dog. She's very sweet. She seems like there's almost like two sort of personalities that are inside this dog.
Oh, wow. It's really interesting that you say that, because I've had that feeling for a long time.
But it wasn't always that way. I think that Sunny was kind of on her own, and then something kind of just sort of came into the picture that influenced her in some way. It wasn't a human. It wasn't you. It was possibly.
That's right.
Possibly another.
That's right. This is going to put me out on a limb, but you're right. When she was about 6 months old, she had a grand mal seizure.
So that goes on a minute or two longer, where the medium, that's the woman here, goes and gives a whole bunch of details about the dog and how she had a seizure and how the dog behaved one way when they first got her, and how there was another dog that they had to put to sleep. So she got this dog, and now this dog is taking on the personality characteristics of the other dog. And Mark makes some kind of BS comment about it. It's just really silly. You can watch the video I said that'll show it in full. But do you see how she immediately just is like, that's right. So all Mark said was a Barnum statement of it's like she's been two different dogs, like she's two different dogs. And the woman, she totally, completely forgets how general what he just said was, and throws out that, well, that's exactly what I've thought for a very long time. It's very interesting that you picked up on that. It's like Mark said almost nothing. I can hear Mark in my mind saying, ding, 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 I got it. I don't have to say anything more. She's just going to be a regular sitter and just go on and just give a whole bunch of information that Mark can just pull back and say, yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then he just can feed off of that as a cold reading statement. I also want I'm going to play this other little section again that I think is extremely important. I put the words up on here, but listen to Mark's voice. He doesn't know anything about this dog. He also is not psychic, and he's just pretending. So listen to what he actually says. Listen to his words of how he does this and how he does not finish the sentence.
I think that Sunny was kind of on her own, and then something kind of just sort of came into the picture that influenced her in some way. It wasn't a human. It wasn't you. It was possibly.
That's right.
Possibly another.
That's right. This is going to put me out on a limb, but
see how he did that? She's probably not even aware that she did that. So he said, he leaves it open to, it could be another. It wasn't you. It could have been another what? Another dog, another pet, another person. What? And he just lets it trail off. And she's like in a hurry to interrupt him, and she knows the answer. So she's going to tell him what the answer is. those are really interesting. So I think sometimes these little tiny bits of information in these readings that we pull out tell the whole story of what's really going on. When you're a motivated sitter, when you badly want to have the reading and you believe it's real, you're not questioning this at all. Once you have decided that this is real and you're getting a reading, you just want to interrupt and just tell the whole story because somebody's actually really listening to you. They're not really thinking about what Mark just said. If you were in a position where you were more skeptical and you're sitting there knowing that you're skeptical about it, it's still an awkward situation. I've done this before with readings, is that the person is leading you and they don't give you a lot of information and they're hoping that you're going to just go ahead and finish whatever it is that they were saying. And you're just kind of sitting there like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. And then they say things like, oh yeah, you do. That was, and trying to give you more vague statements to go on. It's very awkward. It's very hard as a human social animal to not want to give a bunch of feedback and to acknowledge vague statements like this. This is how our brains work. We make shortcuts. Somebody throws something out, our brain just says, oh, that's what it means, or that's where it's going to. And we're not even aware we do it. So this is being done in seconds of what is actually being said compared to what they're actually hearing and what they're responding to. I think it's fascinating. So leave me your comments and let's see if we can find more of these instances. Now that I'm thinking about it and looking for these off the top of my head, I think I've seen this happen hundreds of times, if not more. Just don't feel like going back and trying to find it. Looking through old videos. I think I'm just going to move forward and see what I can find that are like that. Let me know if you guys find these things and timestamp them for me and let me know. Thanks, everybody.